Hi! So I love seeing how people track their reading, other than just Goodreads. And one thing that I use is my reading journal. Mine's actually digital, I do it on my iPad rather than doing it in a notebook. I've seen some really beautiful reading journals that people have, but I decided that I am going to do mine on my iPad instead, just because I find it easier to be able to highlight stuff and drag them around, and I can erase stuff, and I just find it so much easier than doing it in a notebook. So in this video I thought I would quickly show you how I track my reading using my digital reading journal. I've got ideas for these spreads and things from so many different people. Without a massively long introduction, I'll go straight into showing you my reading journal. I hope you can see it properly because I have to kind of film it over the top, looking down onto my iPad on the desk so you can see it, but yeah, hopefully it is okay and you can see it properly, and I'll just give you a quick flick through of my journal. So let's go. So we start with a little cover that I made. It's obviously, it shows my incredible artistic talent. So then we move down to the new releases section. This was my 2019 journal, by the way. So this started from when I started this journal, which was in October 2019, and it goes through all of the new releases from October, and then I was kind of ticking, you can see with the blue ticks, I was kind of ticking the ones that I got. I've kind of carried this over to my 2020 journal, which I'll show you in a minute. And then we come down to the books read in 2019, and if I just zoom in, this is kind of like a list of every book that I read throughout the year. So I've got the title and the author, when it was published, the date that I finished it, and then the rating that I gave it. You can see a lot of 5-star books. This has been an incredible year for 5-star books. I need to update this actually because I've read more since I last updated this, so I need to update this later. I then did a cute little reading goal page where I knew I wanted to read 30 books in 2019, so I drew 30 little lily pads, and I decided to colour in a lily pad when I read a book, and it was just a really cute little way to see how many books that I had read throughout the year. There's then this page that I really like. I thought it was really useful to have, and it shows what I read throughout the year. So if I zoom in again, there's the star ratings, and then there's whether it was an LGBT book, and for it to be an LGBT book, it has to include LGBT characters as main characters, whether they were female, male, or other genders, so if they're trans or other genders. And then traditional, whether it was a verse novel or poetry, graphic novel or non-fiction or other. And then I tracked whether the book was physical, an ebook, or an audiobook. As you can see, all of my books were physical. I read 2 ebooks and didn't finish a single audiobook in 2019. So that's fab. So then we come down to October, and I'll only show you 1 month because the rest of the months are all the same. But I started with my TBR. My October TBR was quite small because I was only just getting back into reading after being in a massive slump for ages. So I would have my little TBR list, and I highlighted each book a different colour, which I'll show you why in a sec. And then I did a little books bought or books to buy thing, and I would write here any books that I wanted to buy, and then tick them off if I bought them, like a little wish list for the month. This then is my favourite page. I love tracking this. I still do this now. And this is why I highlighted the books here a different colour, because when you come down to this page's read chart, I would mark how many pages that I've read each day, and I would kind of highlight it the right colour of the book that I read, so just so I can see how long it took me to read a book. You can see this one, which was The Night Circus, took me a little while to read. I had quite a few days here where I just didn't read anything. I had a little sad face because I didn't read for 3 days straight. But yeah, this was a really good way to see how much I'm actually reading each day. I find it really interesting just to see how much I actually read in a day. So I've got, along the top here, I've got the pages read, and it goes up in 20s. I think I've changed this a little bit now. I can't remember. And then at the bottom, I've got percent in case I'm reading an ebook or listening to an audiobook or whatever, I can track the percentage instead of the pages read, which you can see I did with this one here. And then it kind of just is the same as it goes down, really, like for each month. The layout might change a little bit, but yeah, it was generally the same each time. And then I got to December, and December is when I had a lot of books in my TBR because I had a lot of time to read because I was off for Christmas. When I'm recording this, it's still the 30th of December, so there's like 2 days left. So I'm desperately going to try and finish The Starless Sea before the end of the year. But Gemina, I have just like done a little arrow to show that I've pushed it on, and I'll try and read it in January instead because I just haven't had time. And then these ones are ones that I just kind of started throughout the month that I didn't plan on having on my TBR, and I'll just tick them off if I manage to finish them. And then, yeah, this is my pages read chart for December so far. It's a really good way to track it, and I'm enjoying it a lot. You can then see like the books I bought or ones that I had for Christmas. And then I had just a really scribbly page where I was planning out my TBR for January. And then like right at the end, after a few blank pages, I've got my template of my pages read. I have set up my one for 2020, another beautifully artistic cover again, as you can see. But yeah, I've set it up for 2020 and it's all pretty much the same layout, and it's all blank, ready for 2020 to start, which is very exciting. Yeah, I'm excited to get started with this. There's a little look at my January TBR and my blank pages read page ready to get started. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you maybe get some ideas for your own journal. I really love that pages read tracker, like the table. I find it so cool to look at, and like especially doing it all the different colours to match the book covers as well. It ends up looking really cool by the end of the month, and it's just so I just love kind of looking at it and seeing how many pages I actually managed to read in a day. And also it's a good indicator as well of how long it took me to read a book. Like if I see that it took me two weeks or something to read a book, I'll wonder why it took so long, compared to some books I see they took me like 2 days. So it's really cool to see how long it actually took me to read a specific book. I'm going to carry on doing this into 2020 and I'll see how long I keep up with it. But because it's so simple, the main thing that I update every day is only that pages read thing. I never end up updating journals if there's like a million different trackers that people update every single day. Like I see some people's bullet journals and they might have like 10 different pages that they update every single day, and that is when I fall out of using it. Like I just don't end up using it. I think with this I find it really easy because there's only like the one page really to update each day, and then it feels really kind of satisfying once I've finished a book to go up to the other pages and write down, like add another book to the list that I've finished and like add tallies to the chart. And yeah, it's really cool. It just makes me want to finish books because then I can add them to my list. And I really enjoy having a different way to track that isn't just through Goodreads. I kind of just use Goodreads as like a digital bookmark where I can check there to see what page I was on next time I start reading, or I can just kind of leave little comments sometimes as I update or whatever. But yeah, I don't really use Goodreads all that much, so I find it really nice to have like a good little visual journal to just keep track of what I'm reading and like keep track of my TBR for the month. Let me know what you think. If you've shared your bullet journal or however you track your reading, if you've shared your own, please let me know, like share the link or something in the comments, because I'd love to see yours and we can all kind of get some ideas from each other. So yeah, I'll see you soon with a new video. Bye!